I had lost my brother in 2009. After that, my life took a big toll on everybody just because I became very depressed. And so I actually tried to hang myself the same way that my brother killed himself. So I was placed at the OSU Medical Center. They treated me for a while and it came down to my discharge date, and my parents did not pick me up. It was really hard for me to find a place to go because not a lot of people wanted a teenager. One day, my DHS worker came and told me, there's a room open for you at the Tulsa Boys Home. I was excited, but at the same time I was scared because there's another change that I'm having to make in my life. When I came here, I was meeting the staff. I met with Misty, and I was telling them, I said, I'm gonna run away from here. Like, I'm not gonna be here. And after spending here and getting to know the staff and all that stuff, I felt more comfortable in just being able to speak to them. My counselor, Rebecca Jarrett, she was an amazing counselor. Like, she understood me for who I was, not of who I was in paper. They knew that the horses would help me kind of calm down, or whenever I felt depressed or sad, Miss Rebecca would come and she would like take me out to the horses, and I'd brush the horses and just pet them and all that stuff, and it was so much fun. It gave me a little bit of hope, and I feel like that's what a lot of kids nowadays need, is a little bit of hope. My time here at the Tulsa Boys Home was just God telling me like there's a better future for me. Because at the point I didn't feel like there was any future for me. I was to the point where I wanted to die. I didn't want to go anyplace else. Everybody's just giving up on me. I have 4 beautiful kids, and then I have a fiance. I own my own business, and I work for a landscaping company, and I own my own. So I have more of a drive to push to fight for my family, because I want to give my family a better future than what I had. Just remembering everything here is like, it was really awesome.
When I was growing up, I was with my biological parents, and life was pretty hard. They were both drug addicts, and parents would come home drunk. Parents would bring other people over. There was always like anger and just fear in the house from us kids. When I was 6, DHS took me away from my parents and placed me with my grandma. But while I was at my grandma's, my 2 older cousins sexually abused me for 2 years. And I was placed at multiple different group homes and just different therapy places. When I got here at first, I just didn't want to open up to anybody, didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just working with my therapist, and eventually, and then the staff were helping me too, and so were the horses. Horses helping me a lot. It just helped me unravel and just work through these things I've been through. I got selected to be on the team that like greets and meets new people that comes and just share my story. And then I met Katie and Mitch, and as I kept seeing them and meeting them more and more, they began to have a friendship and like a bond there.
In about 2021, I was on a Hope Tour, and that is the first time that I got to see Carson. It was very overwhelming. When I saw him and he started talking, I just bawled, and I knew that this kid was going to be a part of our life.
I started praying about it like we both agreed that we would do, and the more I prayed about it, the more God kept speaking, like, just go to the next step. You know, don't be so afraid of what you're feeling, but more so like, just trust me in this.
As we went through the process, I knew my next step, unfortunately, was I was going to have to step out of the boys' home. We have a rule where we don't want the boys to feel like they're not as equally as awesome as the other boy is. So I did decide that this was going to have to be something that I had to do, as hard as it was.
I remember meeting Carson for the first time, and we were walking to have lunch, and like, I just, in my spirit, knew he's supposed to be part of our family. And all the fear, all like the anxiety that I felt prior had just gone away completely. As
I met them more and more, they eventually told me that they feel like this is right and that God has led them to meet me. And I was honestly not very shocked, because like, it just felt normal. Life now with the littles is pretty good. I get to play sports, hang out with my friends, just go over to their houses, stay. There's just so much fun. We're always doing stuff to help people and just give back.
So when most people think about adoption, they think about the babies, right? They young, they're new. You get to raise them up to be who they're going to be. So taking in a teenager, it can be scary. They have history, they have trauma, they have a past that you weren't a part of, but they deserve a chance to. And if we can't give them that chance, who's going to? They just need someone that's going to love them. They didn't have that, and now we get to love Carson, and he gets to feel what that feels like. I think he's blessed us more than what we've probably blessed him. And I thank God every day that he got to come home with us.
So my stepdad was very abusive. He'd slam me against the walls. So I was always in fear after being assaulted by him. And there was a time when I had a gun loaded that I'd stolen with one bullet for him underneath the pillowcase. I had a pretty bad life growing up. It had gotten so bad where I even poisoned my father so that he would leave me alone. That's how much fear that I had growing up in the home. It's like I was always in a blackness, and I was so used to being numb that any time that I could free myself from that, I would take that opportunity, whether that be from burglaries or assault or stealing from people or drugs. That's what I did, and I'm just so grateful that that's not the life I have to live anymore. The Boys Home helped me in a lot of different ways to grow up in general. Doing the right things for the right reasons was unnatural for me. I always lived a life of secrecy. Probably my 4th month in the Boys Home that my probation officer gave me an assignment, and she asked me to write a short-term and long-term goals list. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just thinking, this is dumb. I gotta do this because the PO wants me to. But on the 5-year goals, one of those was to own my own car, own my own house, own my own business. And I thought nothing of it. But 7 years later, I own my own home. I have 3 cars, and I'm a manager at my own business. I started to come back out to the Boys Home eventually and talk to the kids one-on-one. I would find myself throughout the day trying to find any way that I could touch one of the kids' hearts, and just so they know that they're not alone. Because for years I felt that way. If the Tulsa Boys Home didn't exist, then I probably would be preparing for prison, soon to be life sentence. The Tulsa Boys Home, I would say, taught me how to be human again, to live a life worthy of living.